Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. We've got something special for you here, a series of old school matches from the ELD Old School Open. And right here we have a Goblins Mirror match. We'll see whose deck is better tuned to face the mirror. Old School, for those unfamiliar, there's actually a lot of different flavors of Old School. We are playing 93-94, which is only cards printed from those years. Reprints are allowed per the Atlantic rules. And leading out with a Goblin Artisan is Mark off of a basic mountain. That is a 1/1 that can potentially convert future artifacts into some card advantage at the risk of countering them. Goblins used to be a very goofy tribe, 1/1s for 1 all over the place. And another Artisan coming down, and he is passing the turn. More mountains in kind. Now Goblin of the Flarg getting in there, and a Goblin Balloon Brigade. Two of the better goblins available in this very limited card pool. Mountain Walk and Evasion. Mishra's Factory there, a winter edition of that coming down. That'll be an excellent blocker or an attacker. We'll see what direction Mark decides to take it in as the game progresses. And a Goblin Hero, and that gets lightning bolted. And another lightning bolt, this one to the face. Ryan now down to 14, facing 4 damage incoming if this factory attacks. And instead we have a Ball Lightning, a German black bordered Kugelblitz. 8 damage coming in. It dies end of turn. Ball Lightning, a slightly tricky card to play in the mirror. You kind of want to put it off as long as possible to get as much damage in with your factories, but on the other side of that, you also don't want it to run into a lightning bolt. Ryan with 3 cards left in hand. And now swinging for 4, we've got a block and a Bloodlust on Factory, and that is going to do it for game number 1. Mark picking it up with Bloodlust, a card that's not always played in these lists. I believe actually both of these players electing to sleeve it up. If you're looking for old school lists online, they can be tricky to find. Most tournaments, including this one, actually take photographs of the decks instead of typing them up. That's for multiple reasons. One, typing does suck. I mean, let's be honest, it's not actually fun to write out your deck list, and Old School is all about fun. The other is, these are really beautiful cards. They're part of the history of the game. They really are the history of the game. Those early sets really laid the foundation for everything that we enjoy in the hobby today. And it's really a joy to see those laid out on a table and, you know, kind of see the deck building decisions that are made, how people even group their deck together in the photo. A lot of the time can give you some insight. People tend to group cards of certain kind of, what would you say, like I'm playing Time Vault Stasis in my list, and I kind of group the cards accordingly to show, like, this is the elements that are more about the prison, this is more about the counters. So seeing a card like Boomerang next to Stasis kind of indicates, like, oh, okay, this isn't just about bouncing your opponent's permanents, this can also bounce the Stasis back to your hand and essentially reset that prison, for many more turns. So it's just really cool. I'll try and get those lists up as well. See if I can get those into the description. And Ryan here. Goblin Hero, a card that I'm not convinced on. 3 mana, 2/2. It does have the synergy with Goblin King, but overall, not really impressed with that printing. We'll see if that ends up being good or bad for Ryan. So far, it traded with a Lightning Bolt, which is about all you can ask for out of any threat in these decks. course, seeing Bloodlust on both sides. Here you got to think Lightning Bolt, one of the highest value cards by a mile in this matchup, potentially setting up a 2-for-1, which could be a game-winning and potentially match-winning play. We'll see how this unfolds. Mark now mulliganing. So these Goblin lists, very aggressive. These would be considered budget decks as well. I know Old School is just absolutely filled with incredibly valuable cards. Mark is actually borrowing this list. He does have a Black Lotus in there. But aside from the Ruby, Mox Ruby, and the Black Lotus, nothing really too expensive. We've got an Ankh of Mishra now. Lightning Bolt cleared out that Goblin Balloon Brigade. Hammerheim, not really likely to be too relevant. And now there's a Goblin King. That one gets Chain Lightning while Ryan is tapped out. And a Goblin Artisan along with Mishra's Factory. Goblins of the Flarg and another Goblin Balloon Brigade. And it looks like Mark now has a factory getting bolted. And he is, I was going to say losing the race, but now it's pretty well tied. Ooh, another Goblin King. Now this pumps all goblins. So Mark absolutely should have swung first here. We've got a little bit of an error. If he was going to swing, you got to turn him sideways. Because it does give all goblins +1/+1. All other goblins. He was later errated to be a goblin himself. And just a stream of 1/1s. Not going to be able to stabilize against these Goblins of the Flarg. Going to need to outrace them. Black Vice, probably a poor card in this matchup. May have been worth trying to convert that with the Artisan. I don't believe Ryan's going to be down on cards. And now Blood Moon, inconsequential in this matchup. Mountains everywhere. Damage mounting. Orcish Artillery now. And Ryan with a ton of life to work with. That one does draw a Lightning Bolt. Looks like Mark just going to be too low on life. This is a race. And now Detonate. Taking out that Black Vice. Ball Lightning. That one gets Lightning Bolt. Mark putting up a fight here. He's down to 2. Can't make another land drop thanks to his own Ankh of Mishra. And Chain Lightning down to 2. Ryan unable to bounce it back. If he had red mana open, that would have been lethal. And now Strip Mine taking out a mountain. This Goblin of the Flarg looks like he's going to get a Wheel of Fortune. Anything could happen here. Mark does have Lotus in the deck. Will he draw it? And will that enable him to get any extra damage in? He could potentially. Did he draw for turn? Oh, he did draw the Lotus. I think he got so excited that he forgot to draw for turn. Goblin King sending for 2. Goblins of the Flarg probably going to get in here. Ryan thinking it through. He just needs to push. Oh, wow. He committed with the Bloodlust. Mark had the bolt. Is Mark going to take this one down after all of this? Black Vice. Two damage coming in. Down to just 4 now. And the Mountain Walk getting in there. Ryan tying it up 1 game apiece. Wow, that was way more dangerous than it needed to be. Wheel of Fortune threw that game in complete chaos. That was pretty wild. I believe Mark actually did miss a draw off after the wheel. Who knows what would have happened there. Ball lightning off the top would have actually won the game. But that is exciting. That might have been the first time that he actually has drawn a Black Lotus in person. Of course, Magic Online does have holiday cubes and some really fun ways to play, but there's nothing quite like playing with the actual cards from back in the day. You can play all sorts of different racing video games online. It is not the same as driving around in a Ferrari. This is the real experience, and that is what old school players love, both to play the cards and to play against them. This upcoming Saturday will be LobsterCon. It's a great event, sold out over in Boston. It's actually my first old school event I ever played in was LobsterCon last year. And hopefully I'll be able to figure out a way to participate in it next year. Things are still getting started up here at ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. I'm going to be running a vintage event this weekend. So pretty much every weekend we're doing some type of either open series or a pre-release. Throne of Eldraine coming up. We're looking to do some really exciting stuff for that, figuring out catering now. And Goblins of the Flarg here in this game number 3. Mark has the play. Ryan follows in kind. The Goblin Balloon Brigade. And passing the turn with that mana open. Looks like he does have a lightning bolt, so he's going to be looking to... Not actually sure what that card is. Looks like a extended mountain. 2 more damage coming in. They trade the Balloon Brigades. And now a factory. Goblin Hero. He is a 2/2 for 3. Pretty vanilla. And now swinging, and he'll trade with Factory. Factory, usually a very high value card, able to block and then tap. I question if it would have been better to bolt that Goblin Hero and keep the Factory alive. We'll see how this goes for Mark. If he had bolted there, he would have pushed through some extra damage and then still had a Factory to hold off this Goblin Hero until he recoups. Flying on the Balloon Brigade. 2 damage coming in. But right now, Mark actually going to lose this race as is. A 4-mana Juggernaut. Classic. That guy is gigantic. A 5/3 Unfortunately, super easy to remove in this format. Mark running 4 Lightning Bolt and 4 Chain Lightning. So for the investment, it's a little rough. Here, Earthquake for 2. Mark did not have another land drop. Otherwise, he would have been able to save that Lightning Bolt that killed the Juggernaut. And another one coming down. Goblin Balloon Brigade and a Goblin King. We could, oh, I was going to say we could see a double block, but that's actually not going to happen. Lightning Bolt taking it out. And a Chump block. Kugelblitz. Ryan down to 5. Mark at 12. About to start taking damage from this Juggernaut. The Strip Mine not likely super relevant. Really, Mark needs another way of pushing through this damage, like a Ball Lightning, some burn, Goblin plus Goblin Grenade. He's at 2 facing down. This Juggernaut, he has to have at least a blocker or he is out of here. What can he do here? Is he looking at Bloodlust plus a creature? Earthquake for 2. And he needed 1 more mana. He was parsing that out. If he was able to Bloodlust the Juggernaut down to 1 toughness and then Earthquake for 1, he would have been able to hang on with just 1 point of life and anything could have happened. Instead, a very fun back and forth match between these 2 mono red decks. I hope you enjoyed this look at Old School. We've got some more coming up soon. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.